What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Urban Dimension podcast. You tuned in with Aries and Teddy Rockwell. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up? What's up? Uh, I'm pretty chill, man. Pretty chill. Midterms, that was a thing. And
Man, you been listening to anything new recently?
I finished my listening for Metro. Well, no, it's not really Metro. 21 Savage and Metro Boomin. I listened to their album. I listened to Bryson Tiller's album, and I finished those, like, just forming my opinion on those two albums. So now I gotta just go into the vault, see what other shit I gotta peep. What about you?
Recently I've been going back listening to older stuff. Like recently I was listening to Pharrell in My Mind, that album, and also some he's a newer artist. His name is Dougie F. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But he's an artist out of New York, I believe. He's pretty dope. But other than that, that's basically all I've been listening to.
Yeah. Besides what we were listening to earlier when we had to peep the latest Kanye track.
Oh man, I don't know how I feel about that Kanye track. You know, honestly, the beat was hard. I ain't gonna lie, but the lyrics and stuff was I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
uh, I feel that. I feel that. I think personally, I was into it. It was just I feel like it was a low quality kind of song, but I just feel like it's Kanye, so I was fucking with it. It was cool though. Like I don't think it's the greatest song ever, but I could appreciate it for like it's random, but that's about it.
Yeah, and also like no other artist could pull off some shit like that if they weren't Kanye West because that track was just weird as fuck. Because imagine if somebody like I don't know Future or somebody else bigger artist tried to do some shit like that, everybody else would be like, "What the fuck?" But since it's Kanye, it's acceptable because he's already been on that path of just doing weird shit.
Well, I mean, as far as weird shit goes, I don't know. I think it depends because for me, I think I was peeping some of the comments on the Nah Nah Nah. That's the song we're talking about. Some people were just like, "Is this like some like Yeezus 2.0 kind of music or what have you?" And I think other people were just saying like what happened to like Wash Us in the Blood? Like, how'd you go from that to this? Or like, people were just kind of forming their own opinions, seeing like what's the correlation with everything. But I feel like I don't know. It's always a lot with like artists. I think at that scale because they drop a song and it's like, is it just meant to be absorbed or is it like more to it than that?
That's a very good point. I feel like I don't know. I don't think Kanye West is gonna put out an album anytime soon. Um, if he does, I don't know what it could potentially sound like. But like you said, with the Yeezus 2 thing, I don't think it could be a Yeezus 2 kind of vibe thing. But that would be pretty cool if he did drop something of that nature soon. But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. That's just me.
Oh yeah, I know some people like this is way back though, but what is it like poopity
Poopity
scoop?
scoop, scoopity
I
whoop.
can't. What song is that? Lift
Yeah,
yourself.
lift yourself.
Yeah, I remember like I
I
heard
think
like when he was doing like the poopity scoop and all that. Like I think that was a song he had for Drake, but then like something happened. And he was like, you know what? Like fuck it, Drake. I'm gonna just use my own song. You can't have it. And that was like the purpose of him saying like poopity scoop and all that shit. So when people kind of heard it, they was just like, this is garbage. What the fuck? After when I heard like that might have been the reason why I was like, whoa, that's some petty shit. I thought it was funny and I fucked with it. I was just like poopity scoop.
he really got on the track
Like
and
I
said poopity scoop. Like who else would have thought of that?
yeah. Well, I think it's a bit of a catch 22 and like it's just usually you're used to artists being held to like such a high standard of quality. So if they do something that's like mid or like shitty and they don't take themselves seriously, it's a bit refreshing. But if it's like an emerging or trying to get like kind of established artist that does something like that, it depends. Cause like the Coochie song, like everywhere, like that's all over like social media and shit, and it's kind of like gone viral and shit. And I think we talked about this earlier. Like it was a cool song because it's like you haven't heard anything like that, and it's like it's in its own little weird genre of music. But just for instance, like people talk about Drake being a culture vulture and shit. Like if you heard Drake do something like that, you're like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's definitely facts. Because I don't want to hear Drake. I already think Drake can be corny at times when he get in his R&B bag, depending on the song. But especially if he get on there talking about I'm a coochie scout or take me to coochie land. Yeah, nah, nah.
Yeah, but I think like Uzi. I think he's on like the remix or whatever, and people are more kind of like inviting to that idea because like Uzi's able to talk about and like do kind of different shit. So I think perspective and context plays a part in that. Just what you expect.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know with Kanye at this point. It's like I don't know what to expect, but usually I'm always kind of just like this is this is crazy. But as far as that nah 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 song goes, I like the Star Wars bar. I think when he was talking about like Obi-Wan, and then he was just like he has the higher ground. That was my favorite part of the song, and I like the beat switch. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the breakdown. It sounded like what's that song? There's a song of Jesus that has a similar beat breakdown to that. But speaking of Kanye, like of the caliber artist he is and like all the accolades that he has, do you think it'll be, or do you see somebody in the near future ever becoming Kanye level? If that makes sense, like you think anybody could not surpass him because he has his own stuff in his own right, but could become something like that, like a legend, like him.
Um, as far as that goes, I think that's a bit of a tough one, but uh, off the top of my head, I would say Travis Scott.
Hmm.
But I think that's a different kind of lane. And the only reason why I say that is like Kanye is kind of like prolific with like production. He has rap, and I would want to say like when I think of Kanye, one of the things I think about is like the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like 10 out of 10. And it's not my favorite album, but like it's a very respected piece of work. And there's like influence, stuff like that. When I think of someone like that, production, rap, influence, uh, not necessarily a 10 out of 10. I like Rodeo a lot by Travis. That would, to me, I think that's like the magnum opus for him. Or I think that's like one of the most solid albums he has. But production, I really like his production. His rap is his own, his own kind of sound is real unique. And there's a lot of people that try to emulate and sound like Travis Scott. Like there's that.
Hmm.
And also you see the influence from Kanye and him. And I think he's on the rise. Like I just feel like I think he's gonna have a lot of longevity and stuff like that. But I don't know. Cause I'm not to my knowledge, I don't know if he's like produced for other artists on like the scales of Kanye.
Oh yeah. Speaking of like Travis Scott, I think he could, like you said, potentially in the future. I'm not saying he's reached his peak or nothing, but I feel like with time, because like he will get to Kanye's level. It just, I don't know. I just feel like his sound has a lot of Kanye influence in it, Mike Dean influence in it as well, even Kid Cudi. And there's a lot of people who are trying to emulate that same sound. So it's kind of hard to say who will be the next one to surpass him, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be really hard to tell, but I feel like it would either be him or somebody like I don't know. I wouldn't say Kid Cudi because he's in his own lane, but
Yeah, I feel like Kid Cudi's kind of well, obviously I'm a Kid Cudi stan. I love Kid Cudi. Uh there's that, but I feel like Kid Cudi's kind of in that like he's not going to get any bigger. I think he's already kind of done it, like he's like when I think of Kid Cudi, I think of like a OG
mhm.
sort of to speak. Like he's already up there and he's a niche kind of artist and he's influenced a lot of people too. Travis Scott being one of them. And he's collaborated with Travis Scott. I'm not sure if their music, like they have more music coming soon, but they're working on something. And I don't see Kid Cudi just getting any bigger. He is Kid Cudi. But uh it's a tough question. I don't think we're gonna see anybody that's like Kanye for a while. Uh, like I said, prolific with like the production. He's done a lot of different projects, and like he's had waves. Like the level of artistry, like everything was different. Like Yeezus, 808s and Heartbreak, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and like on the run he was going on with like Wyoming, and like producing for everybody else, like Pusha T and them everybody. Uh, I can't think of an artist that would do that, or like that I know of off the top of my head. That's like, yeah. And then it's also just like it when you've done so much in the past, or so much has already been done, and like say how like in music, hip hop production, you sample a lot of like older stuff. For I want to say Kids See Ghosts, like one of the songs he sampled, I think it's like Fourth Dimension. He sampled like a old either 30s or 40s Christmas
Yeah,
song.
something like that.
And yeah, and I'm just like, who the fuck comes upon that? And I think it's weird. So to answer your question, I don't know, but that is a good discussion because it's like you'd have to kind of like go through history of like I guess like rap, hip hop, and try to figure out some stuff because he's done a lot if you look at it, and he's still doing like a lot too. So it's like his story isn't finished. So like I don't know how you translate that.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that because I don't feel like we will have another somebody of Kanye level because everybody in the music, oh, most of the people in the music industry now are just they're making beats really quick and they're making them all sound the same. So it's no, not saying there's no originality there. Well, in a sense, there is an originality in some sense with the whole trap scene because a lot of their beats sound the same, and then also nobody's making nobody's just making beats like Kanye West. Like Kanye West, even though his music isn't hitting the same, in my opinion, since his music before years ago, like nobody still is making beats like Kanye West, and he's still miles ahead of everybody, in my opinion.
I feel that. I feel that. It's crazy too because it's like we both, me and you, we both like Kanye, and like music wise at least, and it's not even trying to sound like a like is like basically I'm trying to say like we're not trying to suck off Kanye. We're just acknowledging and giving him his respect. And I think that for people that like maybe follow up with basketball, there's always been the debate with like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron. So I think there's like generational artists maybe or like people that you can compare to some degree, but generations change. So it's like you kind of can't compare fully. It's just like this is what they had back then, this is what we have now. Cause uh that might not be the best example, but that's how I sort of think about it. Cause I'll say like back then, like it was Tupac and Biggie at like one point, and it was like if they're not in like your top three or your top whatever, you don't know music, you don't know anything. But now, you know, Tupac and Biggie, like you could make a list, to me at least, and they're not in like your top 5 or your top 10 just because they're not what you enjoy, and that's plausible. Like that makes sense. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like some people could prefer Kendrick, J. Cole, you know, and like rap's really transformed, especially from back then. So piggyback like off of what you were saying with like the trap scene, I haven't really seen does like do you think Kanye really has any trap music? Because I don't think he does.
Well, if we're going off the general trap scene, no, I don't think he can make music that sound trap. I'm about to make up a word, trap esque, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, like he could probably do like trap influence kind of things, but
yeah,
you haven't heard him in
there's no
that
trap
lane.
music from Kanye. Yeah,
And yeah. So going off of that, I feel like his music exists in his own right, and there's a lot of different artists that do that rap wise. But you're right in a sense with like a lot of I don't know. I think like riding trends kind of just like what's hot is what's hot. So like trap is here and it works for a lot of people. A lot of people can make beats, you know, online. Uh, just get some off YouTube and like that's their thing. And I think we are a hyper consumption kind of community, or like everyone like streaming music, you know, we consume a lot. So everyone's waiting on that album and like we got to make a whole bunch of beats and you make what sells. So instead of that guy tweaking his synthesizers or doing some crazy other shit that like goes outside of that trap genre, he's gonna stick to kind of what works. So that's one thing I've always enjoyed about Kanye. And it's not even just Kanye. I'll say other artists too. Like I'm trying to think of someone like right off the
like
bat,
somebody who
but
just
I'll
defies
just
the natural mainstream music. Talking about
well, there's mainstream artists too, but I'm just saying like just a breath of fresh air. So like we were talking about this before. I know when we were talking about 21 Savage's album, but like stepping on niggas, right?
hmm
That song. So I was just like, we were talking about it and we were just like, this song sounds a lot different. And you were like, I don't know how to feel. And I was just like, well, me, I think it's funny because he kind of took that old school hip hop kind of sound like I went to the barber shop to get my hair cut. Like it was just like some weird shit. But he brought that kind of aggressive kind of trap demeanor to it. And I was just like, I like it because it's old, something that I like. Like I was like, this sounds like Easy E, Boys in the Hood kind of shit,
yeah,
and you look it up, it's kind of an interpolation of that. And to me, even though he's a mainstream artist now, he demonstrated that, like, you know, rap is rap. You can do a whole lot of shit. Sometimes go outside of, like, you know, what's in the. Basically, he just stepped out of the box.
yeah, basically.
So
Cause
that's what
like
I like.
when I first heard the track, I wasn't feeling it at first. I'm not gonna hold you, cause I was like, I was literally listening to it. I was like, what the fuck is this? I want to hear 21 on this. But then it grew on me after some time, and then I read the lyrics. I was like, yeah, this is pretty gangster, and also shows you that he's really versatile more than people realize. So I really like that for 21. But yeah, I agree with everything you just said. To be honest,
Yeah, yeah. It's hard though to think about it, but I think I think we live or we're kind of in a point where like shit is weird, especially with the pandemic. Like I don't even know how many months it's been, but it's been like since March, but it feels like years have gone by. Like it just feels long. But an artist I'll bring up maybe is like Childish Gambino. Uh, when he first was kind of rapping, like cul-de-sac, camp, because the internet too, because the internet was like really different for his time. He, I would say Childish Gambino to me as an artist, I thought he could rap and his shit was different. And he could also sing too. And I was just like, but he's not like some super talented artist. Like, oh wow, this guy, he's miles ahead of everybody. I just thought he was different, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely different. I would put him in the same lane as like a Tyler the Creator or like a who else? I'm trying to think. Steve Lacy, them type of artists.
Yeah, I guess like those like alternative black creative kind of like
Yeah,
caricatures,
yeah.
maybe.
He did. Childish Gambino definitely didn't like reinvent the wheel, but he definitely did step outside of his comfort zone. Because I remember he had started on the show Community, then he started rapping. He was rapping for a minute, and then he switched to his alternative R&B bag, which I prefer more than his rapping. Because "Awaken My Love," that's just it's timeless.
I didn't even. That's funny. I didn't even bring up that out. Well, yeah, that's wow. That's I'm actually happy you said that. That's crazy because that is an amazing piece of work. But my thing is, when you look at the first like the first bits and pieces of music that he produced, no one expected "Awaken My Love,"
Oh yeah, no,
you
nobody
know.
did.
But it's like we have the privilege to kind of look back, and you can be like, well, I'm not really surprised. He always seemed like a guy that was already like outside of what was, I guess, mainstream or popular. Like he was just, I don't know, like Camp to me was really great. I really like I'm trying to think of the song. It's like the dubstep kind of like
It's I think it's Heartbeat. I think yeah.
Heartbeat. Yeah. Heartbeat was like one of my favorite songs. And he raps, and I wouldn't really consider it pop, but it's not just a straight rap song, if that makes
Yeah, you
sense.
can definitely hear the outside influence besides rappers. It's got like a the beat kind of is mixed with pop, EDM-ish kind of the way the bass line flows at least.
Yeah.
But I like that song a lot, and also one of my favorite songs on there was Firefly and
Mhm.
I think it was not Let Her Home, All the Shine. I like those two songs a lot.
Yeah.
But
I liked Less
oh
too.
yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah. And it's weird because, or at least to me it's weird because if I was to describe that album, I really couldn't like in a sentence like what is it? I don't know, it's just an album. Like you kind of just got to check it out and get a feel for it. And that's my thing too. Songs on that particular piece of work stand out. And when you look at a lot of different, I guess, like newer music, back to what we were saying with like the trap shit, it's like, I think if you're kind of like stuck with like one kind of image or one kind of sound, people, well, this is obvious, but people like dislike if you step outside of the boundary sometimes, like instantly or whatever, what may have you. So I think if you don't have like a really defined kind of like this is what I do, this is it. I feel like it's easier for you to like make things. So when I apply that to Kanye, I guess that's why I'm always like, well, yeah, I'm not surprised. Like this is different. This is, and to me, it's fun because it's like whatever he kind of comes up with, I can make the decision of like, yeah, this was a miss, this was cool, but it's like it's refreshing because I never know what to expect. Versus, damn, I'm trying to think of an artist I don't
Or
like that
how
like
do you feel
never
about
impresses me.
Drake when he does that? Because I know a lot of people, some people get on Drake for stepping out of his
Mm,
lane. Because I prefer rapping Drake,
mm,
but some people prefer R&B Drake. So how do you feel about that
damn. Well,
in regards to like stepping out of your
that's
lane?
a tough one. That's a tough one. It really depends because Drake is hit or miss too, but also it's like a different ratio of hit or miss.
Hmm.
I would say Drake is like usually like a 60-40 or like 70-30 hit or miss. Like I think he has some pretty decent stuff. Like I don't know, I think he's like the most decorated artist that we have. Like the amount of music he's put out,
Oh
but
yeah, he's consistent.
yeah, there is the like say on like the kind of like British or like drill sounding kind of, I welcome it. You know, it's not exactly what like I'm. I don't know. I welcome it. It's not what I'm looking forward to like all the time. But shit, if it wasn't for Drake, I wouldn't have really been hip to like gigs, or like I wouldn't have looked up to the other kind of scene. I could say that. But being as though I'm from New Orleans, Nice for What, when that came out, it popularized, I guess, like bounce, or like it was like, oh, Drake's doing bounce now or whatever. And people were like, whoa, this is crazy. But I was kind of like a little upset, or like, this is nothing fucking new. You
Oh
get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I definitely get that. Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. So I really think it all just depends. Um that was who I brought up. I brought up Childish Gambino just as like someone I think that steps out, does something different that's cool. I don't know who else you might have in mind, but that's what I
I
had.
can't really think because like a lot of artists don't typically step out of their comfort zone and try something new. I know Kid Cudi did when he did that. I think it was Speeding Bullet to Heaven. Was it like a rock or alternative
Yeah.
album, something like that?
Well, yeah, it was a rock thing. I mean, we talked about that on the last
Yeah.
podcast, but you could Kid Cudi's a different kind of animal. I'll say that. Obviously, I got bias to defend him, but I think his Indica album was a lot different from like the Man on the Moon music too.
Oh
Like if
yeah, it is.
you really sit down and think about it, because he included like a song, I think that's like it's mainly like a long instrumental. It's like 8 minutes or something towards the end, and he worked on some of the production of that album too. That was something that I really liked, and it sounded darker and for the most part grittier than like some of the shit he had. But Kid Cudi has that past, because if you look at his earlier music and you look at his like I think it was his first mixtape, A Kid Named Cudi.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if you look at all the music on there, I would say that it's different, but I'm not surprised, because he showcased like a lot of talent to me. Like, oh, this guy is capable of doing a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, and that's facts. Cause I want to see what else. Not even just Kid Cudi. Like I want to see artists step out of their comfort zones a lot more. Like do something like what Drake did, but also a lot of people might not pick up on it, like you said earlier. So it just depends. Cause like imagine if somebody like, well, Travis Scott already did it. He had a song with Rosalia, but I'm trying to think. Imagine if somebody like Future got in a, I'll just throw out a genre, alternative bag. People might not gravitate to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's different instances. Dwayne had like the like rock inspired album that we talked about like last week. Or not last week, last podcast. But I'm trying to think of other people who've done different stuff. Trippy Red. This is someone like who's very hit or miss for me. I can respect him and appreciate him because he does a lot of different things, and he's very like singy, melodic, and whatnot. But even though he may be hit or miss to me, I'm never upset with him when he tries something like different, because he's established that kind of repertoire.
Yeah.
Like that's something that he does. Uh Damn, this is actually a tough one. I can't think of like other
Did
artists
you
who
ever
like
listen to
different
Trippie
shit.
Redd's alternative singles he had?
Like
It
what?
was a song called I think it was called Dreamer.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It's just he's very like I have to be in a very specific state of mind, but it wasn't bad. I encourage it though. Like I said, I encourage the artistry. Uh but there's recent examples. Like say with Travis Scott with the franchise song, but like I remember on Twitter when people were talking about like MIA, like her verse. I really don't even know if you could call it a verse,
I
but
don't even think it. I don't know what to call it. I mean, I like at first I was not liking her verse at all because I was like, what the fuck is this? but after a while, it did grow on me. So
Yeah, it grew on me, but I how would I describe it? It's just I don't know. It's just some vocals, you know. She says some shit like something fish and chips make them happy, chippy chippy. Uh and then at the end she has her little like MIA.
yeah, right at the end.
But I don't know. I think people are probably upset because that's not what they expected, I guess, from MIA.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, but like, fuck, what did you expect?
That's
You
a
know what I
good
mean?
point because
Like,
I wasn't expecting her to get on there and start rapping like I don't know, uh, give us a full verse like Kendrick Lamar or some shit. But that is a good point. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
yeah, I think also she came at the end too. I think that's always hard. Like, I'm trying to think off of like say Jack Boys, or what is it, Out
Yeah,
West
with Young Thug.
with Young Thug, bruh. I'm trying to think. Travis, I think, comes after Young Thug, and I don't really like Travis's verse that much. And it's not bad. It's just to me, Thug had like what Thug said was just hard, and I was just like, it's damn near impossible to follow that shit
Oh
up.
yeah, he definitely outdid Travis Scott on that song.
So I felt like Travis and Thug, and she came at the end. That's not like the little note that you want to end on or
But
leave
also,
on.
if she came in, if she, if MIA was to be featured in the middle, because I think it was Travis then Thug, then Travis and MIA, right? If I'm correct. Yeah,
Hmm.
if MIA was to come like in the middle between Travis and Young Thug, I feel like that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Cause to me, I probably would have skipped the song.
Well, I mean, shit. That's just
Not like
honesty.
when I
Yeah.
first listened to it. Of course, I'm gonna listen to it in full. But like, if I'm an average listener and I hear MIA getting on the track
Ah.
talking about
Yeah.
Mississippi Kawasaki Dippy Dippy or whatever she said, I might turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a that makes sense. That makes sense. By the time it gets to her part, it's kind of like this is the long train out. This is it.
Yeah,
Take us home.
but yeah, her verse wasn't. It wasn't bad, but it's like you said, I wasn't expecting a full, you know, in depth verse, but it was decent.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird. People were like petitioning to take her verse off.
Yeah,
I
they
thought,
tripping. They doing too much.
I just thought that was too
Yeah,
much.
but but
But I
yeah,
mean, fuck it, it'd be like that.
but yeah. On another note, like, how do you feel about This is random, but how do you feel about Ice Cube and the whole Donald Trump thing?
Ice Cube, NWA. How do I feel about it personally? If I'm being honest, I think it's a weird situation. Like I don't have any like kind of feelings, I guess. Like I don't know the situation, but from what I seen and read, and it was mostly on Twitter, so it's like if people are like, what are your sources? What are you checking? I just saw that like he was coming up with something. Was it like corporate or contract with Black
It
America
was
or
something
something?
like that. I don't people don't quote me on this, but from what I read, it seemed like he was trying to get stuff to something for black people. That's all I know.
Yeah, so we could build up from there, right? So he was trying to do something. I'm trying to look it up on Twitter right now,
I
but
saw he was trying to
it's
make funding for the black community.
yeah, so it's called Contract with Black America. That was kind of the thing he was talking about. And I didn't see the full video, but that was something he was doing. And then I heard he like met with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and he was just like, "Yo, this is the contract, or like this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get something for black people. You know, we still at like we're not in a good spot." And what happened was that apparently the Democratic Party was like, "Yo, we campaign and we'll catch you on the flip side," and the Republican Party was like, "All right, we'll see what Trump say." And I guess they reached out to him like, "Yo, we made some amendments, or this is what we think." And I think this is where it gets kind of like weird or sticky. I don't know if they came up with a plan already, or like he's supposed to be like helping them come up with a plan or something, but I heard basically the platinum plan, which I think is kind of fucking racist, like if we're being honest. Basically they like, yeah, niggas listen to albums, niggas go platinum, let's just call it the platinum plan so it sounds good. uh there was like something about like a platinum plan and $500 billion to like go towards like black communities to help out black people, infrastructure, stuff like that. So from, I guess, those details, people was just like, okay, so Ice Cube is endorsing Trump. Ice Cube is with Trump. Ice Cube is a Republican. That was kind of the mindset, I guess, or like shit that I was seeing on
Mhm.
Twitter. Yeah. So from that, my opinion. Well, actually, I'll step back. Later, he was just like, I didn't endorse Trump. So he was kind of just like, I came up with an idea. No one liked my idea except for the Republican Party. I met with them, and like that's the kind of thing. Like now I'm trying to see about getting it done. So from that, it's up in the air and open for interpretation for people to think like, oh, well, does he believe in Trump? Like Trump had all this time. If he wanted to help black people, he could have been done it. Uh he's doing this shit for campaign. He's just trying to get in and then he's gonna fuck over everybody. Like the art of the deal. He's just false lies, like so there's that kind of like those opinions and ideas. Do I think they're wrong? Not necessarily, but I don't know. So all I can say is that I feel like his intentions were good, because Ice Cube, he said like he was reading the literature, he's trying to study, trying to figure out something that'll help people. Because it's like a lot of people look towards celebrities like, oh, you got all this money, help out, like help out. And I forgot we were talking about this the other day with like No Name and J. Cole. She was like, J. Cole, you don't you don't know what you're doing, blah blah blah. Go read a book, or you don't know. And J. Cole was like, yo, chill. If I don't know, then educate me.
Yeah.
She's like, read a book. He's like, nah, I'm a try out for the NBA. Like,
What?
chill.
eh, Not to get off track, but did he actually go through with trying out for the NBA, or is he still like what happened with that?
I don't know. I think he did like a tryout for the Pistons, Detroit Pistons. That's the team I'm thinking
Oh
of.
well,
I don't know. They say he could play. Like he's 6'3", got some court presence. Honestly, I don't see why not. Fuck
yeah,
it.
shit, might as well go with it. But like you were saying, I don't know. I don't know much about the whole Ice Cube and Trump thing, but yeah, like niggas was on the timeline talking about he's endorsing Trump or he's a Trump supporter or he's a Republican. I'm like, that's not what he. That's not what he did, but I can see why they would think that.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
people on the timeline were just quick to hop down his neck without actually reading further information about it. They would just read the headline and just go with that.
Well, I mean that it's a lot of instability, reading between lines, and like black people already don't trust the government. Like that's a thing.
Oh yeah,
Like we have a lot of distrust for like medical facilities, government, a whole bunch of different things. And I'm not saying it's like it's ill either. Like obviously, if I don't trust you, it's not just fucking random. Like I'm not
oh
saying
yeah.
that either. But he said like he made tweets before like I will never ever endorse a
He
motherfucker like
did.
Trump. And he made like a song, I guess, like arrest the president or something. I never even heard the
It's
song, by
the
the
beat
way.
is
I
hard.
didn't.
I ain't gonna lie, I've heard it.
Yeah. So I think it was just a lot of culture shock to people. They're like, "What the fuck?" Even me, I was just like, Ice Cube is with Trump. I'm like, what the fuck? And like one guy tweeted, he was just like, wow, my legend Kobe died, and now Ice Cube is with Trump. This is the worst year of my life. I was just like,
Well, yeah,
whoa.
I can understand why it would be a shock because that's like I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody. Um, I don't know that. Yeah, I could understand why that would be a shock. I was shocked when I first saw it too, but I wasn't like drawn back. Just going off of how everything has been happening through quarantine. You don't know what's gonna happen next. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can understand why he was shocked.
I mean, yeah, 2020, bro. Anything can happen. Uh that's just sort of the way the cookie crumbles. But how I feel about it, I feel like I don't really know too much of the details. I don't know. I guess his intentions were good. You know, people are gonna interpret that however they will, but I think he was probably thinking like, "Oh, I put my faith in the Democratic Party or whatever, and what I want, the change that I want, isn't probably gonna happen or such and such." So a lot of people don't like Joe Biden. They're like, "Oh, in like the 40 some years, all these he hasn't done anything for black people. He's actually targeted black people. He's called them super predators and prisons, crime, different stuff. Everything has been against blacks." And now he's saying if I don't vote for him, I'm not black. Like there's a lot of uh there's a lot of reason for everything. Like I understand like both sides kind of, but I just feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like I just got to see how everything plays out. But if he's saying he doesn't endorse Trump or he's trying to get something done, well, I what can I say? That's his decision if he wants to do
yeah,
that.
that's
But
basically how I feel too. I mean, I feel like that he had good intentions, but I feel like as a collective, black people were just like this wasn't the way to do it. Like you don't, I don't know. The black people as a collective, they didn't want somebody like Ice Cube to be working with the ops. I guess better way to put it.
yeah, and that's why I was saying it's warranted. 500 billion. Do you really like? If you ask me if I think Trump's gonna deliver or do that, I
Fuck
think
no,
no.
he's not.
You know, but Ice Cube might have seen something different, whatever. But people are also mad too because it's like the people that we have politically making decisions and doing shit is rappers apparently. Like P Diddy's working on like this our black party or whatever. And
You know how
I'm not.
problematic that
I
is.
have no issue with P.
You know how
Mhm.
problematic that is.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no issue with P Diddy, but what's the like? I don't get it. You know what I
Yeah, because
mean?
it's like, what's the point in doing that? Because imagine if white people did that. Well, they already got a white political party. It's called the KKK, but like it doesn't make sense. Like you trying to, I get what he was trying to do. He's trying to combat the race issue by having our own party, but that's not helping anything.
Yeah, I think it just hinders
Yeah,
us. Or like you want people associate democracy kind of with the Democratic Party, like good for everybody, stuff like that. And it's it's weird when like the best candidate that they could come up with was Joe Biden, and that's just my personal opinion. Like okay, that's a little weird, but the issue with that is you have people like kind of, and I'm not mad at P Diddy or whatever, but P Diddy comes up with his own party, Kanye's doing his own thing. All of that kind of takes away from, I guess, some of the like that takes away mainly from like the Democrats. I think like I don't think most Republicans are gonna be like, oh, this Kanye guy or oh this this P Diddy guy's got my vote. So I think that kind of just gives the Republican Party kind of the upper hand.
yeah,
So I think that's why a lot of black people, when they see shit like that, they're like, "What the fuck?" The main people that are leading us is just like they're fucking us, or that's how they feel.
yeah.
So
Like, why do we have? I feel like we shouldn't have celebrities in office that don't have, political experience. Like, if you're a celebrity and you have political experience, then you could potentially run for office like fucking what's his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was a governor of what, California, I believe. Um,
Yeah.
if somebody like that, but Donald Trump, he has no political experience, and neither does Kanye West. So it's like y'all are really people are really voting for Kanye West and Donald Trump. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, obviously, Trump's not really fit to be president. Like, not even attacking his character. I just think he doesn't have the experience, stuff like that. That's like if I don't know, like me and you, we do music production, and it's like we finish a song or whatever, we wanted to get it mixed, and we just pick some average fucking Joe off the street who's never looked at anything. I don't know what an EQ is, compression, whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm mixing it. Cool, I'll do it. That's gonna be a trash ass mix, like most
Oh
likely,
yeah,
99.9% likely. So when you have him as president or he's a candidate and then you have other people that are kind of like they're not really fit, it just makes the whole thing look like a shit show. And like the podcast kind of like enter that like political, like everything sucks kind of realm, but it seems like that sort of is how it is.
yeah. I just another thing. I also feel like this is another random side note, but I feel like politicians shouldn't be 70 years old about to hit their grave. That's just that's another thing for me. But yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said. You hit it on the nail.
I mean, I try. I mean, it's to me, I've never really been super big on politics. I don't think I know everything about politics. Uh, I just want what's like I think equity, equality. People should have the right to do whatever they want. Everyone should have like an equal shot at life. That's just how I feel, and it's like you want to try, for me at least, you want to try to do things like that or make decisions, have people vote and form legislature and stuff. That's for a cohesive good. But when you look at it, and I might just sound really cynical, but like everybody's fucking doing some underhanded shit, or the people that you get in power are shady as fuck. They're stealing, lying, doing a whole bunch of different shit. And the people that seem good and are good, they kind of just go down the drain. And for me, it hurted. Oh, I'm
Like I
weak. That's
said,
not even a
heard
word.
it.
Hurted. It it hurt because it was like as I got older, I was kind of realizing that like in school, like when people run for SGA, different shit, like middle school, elementary, high school, it's basically a fucking popularity
Oh yeah,
contest.
that's facts.
What I mean? I get to college and I'm not, what I mean? I'm not throwing shade or shots at people, but it's like it still seems like a fucking popularity contest.
Yeah,
And you think people are making like the right decisions, and again, somebody's doing some shady shit or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, so later in life, once again, the fate of the country, it seems like a fucking popularity contest. And niggas are shady as fuck. So it's just like, what do you do? Because it's like, for me, I'm not interested in getting involved. There's other shit that I want to do. But my, because I'm philosophical, I could talk my ass off like all day thinking about shit like this. It's like, I still have a part in the country, like nigga pay taxes, different shit like that. And one day when I have kids, they're gonna have to deal with the repercussions of like legislature and shit now. So it's like I don't want to give a fuck, but part of me has to give a fuck because I'm still affected. People I know are still affected. So it's a loaded ass discussion.
yeah, it, it really is, and I feel like I don't know. As time progresses, I don't feel like it's gonna get with the whole politics thing and the politicians. I don't feel like it's gonna get any better because I don't know. I just feel like America. Americans as a whole have a tendency to do stupid shit, and so when they elect Donald Trump, it's gonna be another idiot in office. I just don't know who it's gonna be, but
I mean, yeah, possibly. I think a lot of like the this guy's dead. He's an old comedian, George Carlin. He's one of my favorites. He's an old white guy, and he was just saying like America's a shit show, like it's a fucking circus. And he was just saying like he takes the passive route. You know, he just watches everything because he's like, if you try to make sense of it all and try to get wrapped up in things, you're not really gonna be happy because it doesn't make sense. So you best just take a seat and just enjoy the ride, you know. But I'm trying to think kind of a better way to end the podcast on a good note, or at least kind of come towards something that sounds a little better. But I mean, yeah, America, we're kind of stupid. Shit's dumb, especially with like COVID. Uh, Here we are. Everybody's like, a lot of people aren't wearing masks, and different people doing different shit. And like other countries were kind of clearing up earlier than us. Meanwhile, we're just like still getting infections and different shit.
yeah, that's very true. But on a brighter note, hopefully, like I said, hopefully in quotations, if we get a new president, maybe shit will change slowly, but
Yeah. I think we should amend the Constitution a lot more too, or just think of different shit like that. Because you're definitely right about the fact that like people shouldn't be that old. I think, and it's nothing against old people. I just think you need people more sort of in touch with like the times. Because like a lot of senators and governors, like a lot of the older people, they don't understand kind of like how things
yeah,
are. Some people don't even know how Google works, you know, and they're not stupid. I'm not calling them like, oh, these people are stupid. They're ignorant to it, and it's a different kind of learning curve. And like people are younger now, the experiences are way different. You know, someone that's like 70, you and I, we're like 21, so that's damn near like we're three and a half, almost four generations like apart, or like there's that much of a gap.
yeah,
Don't even include like the difference in wealth. You know, it's like someone that has like a lot of money and shit like that. So the experience in life that they live and lead is completely different from me. So it's just like, of course we don't see things the same. Like, of course there's a disconnect.
yeah. And
You know?
also, I feel like um, for its government, they shouldn't just have. Of course, there should be more representation of different races in the government, but also representation of people of different economic status, educational status as well. Because how can you say the country is run equally, but all the people running it are of a wealthier class and they're all of mostly white? How is that? And they're all mostly older individuals as well. So I feel like,
Yeah, it's mostly
yeah, it's
men
mostly
too.
men too. So I feel like you need women in there. You need gay men in there. You need lesbian women in there. You need people from different races in there. You need some people of lower economic status in there to, you know, stuff like that. And also, speaking of the amending the Constitution has only been edited like 27 times, if I'm correct. And
I wouldn't
yeah,
even
I
know.
was I was watching a thing on YouTube the other day, and they was talking about Trump and the Constitution. I believe it was 27, but it's just crazy to me that the Constitution was written like 300, 400 some years ago, if I'm correct. Don't quote me on that, but and it's only been amended 27 times.
Yeah,
That's just that's just crazy to me.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's weird. Well, no, I won't say it's weird, but it's funny to me because it's like a lot of people get up in arms about the Constitution, different shit, and they're like, "Oh, that's unconstitutional," or "Oh, that's blah blah blah." But it's real interesting when you think about like some of the same people that have those ideas. They're very laissez-faire with religion. You know, like in the Bible, like, oh, this, that, or whatever. Like, times are different now. Things are more modern. It's like, well, times are more modern, like outside of the context of the Bible. So, legislature, laws, different things like that, you can amend that. And people talk about like guns, Second Amendment. Like, I support the idea of being able to protect yourself. But do I think it's everyone's God given right to have a gun? No.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And actually, George Carlin, he has like a segment on this. I can like send it to you or some shit. But he's talking about rights, and he's like, really, if you think about it, like we don't have no fucking rights. What is a God given right? Like, what if I don't believe in God, or like what if like where you're at? Like no one, like who determines the rights and shit. So it's like to say I have a God given right to bear arms. What if I have mental illness or different shit?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
a good point. They say it's a God given right because, they believe, well, the Constitution was written by white men, and the Constitution only favors white men or white.
Yeah, all men are
Yeah,
created equal except for like
yeah, except
everybody
for
else.
everybody else. Like, how does that make sense? So I feel like America needs to change their slogan. Like,
We gotta come up with a
yeah,
new
like make a new
slogan.
slogan because clearly, like with all this police brutality going on and inequality, you would think we still living in the 50s.
Uh,
It's not
I
that
mean,
bad, but I mean, yeah, it's not
yeah,
that
I was gonna
bad.
say I
It's
don't know
not
if it's
that
that
bad,
drastic,
but
but it is tough for a lot
it,
of people. Yeah,
it's
it's
still
it's
tough.
still tough.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. Um, that's a good point. And then I mean, like shit. Back on the rights thing, like it's different too because it's like we're so big on like people having rights and oh you can't do that or that's like whatever. America, like we stick our nose in a lot of other countries and people's business, and we do a lot of different shit, and like like different territories they want their independence, but we're like nah, fuck y'all. So it's like how does how do people have God-given human rights and like inalienable rights, but we decide when we want to acknowledge
Yep.
them? Like that defeats the whole purpose of the definition and shit. So consistency is lacking in places like that. But to me, at the end of the day, it's just a piece of fucking paper. It's a set of rules. So I guess people had the idea of like, how do we stop ourselves from being a group of monkeys that sling shit at each other? Like, okay, we come up with some kind of rules or something to kind of like differentiate us and have like some type of civil law, civil things. But
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
change it.
Because it can be
Amend
changed.
it,
Yeah.
make it better.
It's just that I feel like as a whole, not even just black people. I feel like people in general, they just don't realize how much power they have in society. Because if you think about it, like the president and like the people who have power can only do basically what the people want, essentially.
I'm not fully
Because like
following. What do you mean?
if say they want to have a law passed, they can't just have that law passed if the people don't vote on it. If I'm correct, I might be saying that wrong, but
I don't know.
I might be
I
I
don't.
might be saying that wrong, but
Yeah, I get what you're trying to. I get what you're kind of saying. Like, you can't just snap your finger and just like, oh, bam, what I
yeah,
want
yeah,
happens.
that's what I'm
Or
trying to
like,
say. Like, people,
yeah, there's like some system of checks and
yeah,
balances.
like people can get stuff,
I'll be
people can
honest.
get stuff changed more than they realize, and they're just not educated on how much power they actually have in society. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Oh, so you're telling people to go out there and
Go
vote?
fucking vote.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a bit of a nuanced issue with that. I have no issue with people voting, of course. Like your voice deserves to be heard. Everyone's voice deserves to be heard, but I think telling people like, "Oh, you not voting was the issue," was like not fully the case.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because I know people were talking about that with like Trump winning and shit, and I thought that was more so like the electoral. college and like he lost the popular vote. I don't get how that worked, but it was just like essentially the people that voted, like they did their job. It's just the situation got fucked. But of course, voting for other things like, state legislature, city, different things like that matters. But I always think it's funny when people are like, yeah, your vote matters, except for like when you're voting for someone that like they don't like.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, they're like, go out there and vote. And then you see people voting for Kanye, and they're just like, what the fuck? Your vote is bad. It's gonna make Trump win. And then this is like, I thought my vote mattered. Well, like, yeah, for the other person. So like, obviously, I'm all for people doing what they do, but you know what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I'm
say?
following. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's just a funny thing to me.
yeah. That's I also don't like well, you kind of already touched on it when people say um your vote uh the reason you didn't vote is the reason why Trump won. I don't really like that because they're saying that like as if not saying one vote doesn't matter, but like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like there's millions of people in this country. So how
Oh well, yeah, it's a
yeah,
collective.
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I just don't really like that. But that's a little
Yeah, I don't even know how the metrics work too, because like people are like, oh, the black community doesn't vote or whatever, and I thought like like we're a minority, right?
thing. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, spoiler, LOL, we're
Spoiler.
black. Spoiler, we're a minority. So I'm saying like there is a lot of things in place that's kind of like meant to sort of disenfranchise us, like like a lot of convicted people like, oh, they can't vote after stuff like that, which I kind of don't get because you still got to pay taxes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that now. That doesn't make sense to me, but I'm saying if even if we had the full, like if everyone voted, I think we'd all voted the same, or more people would have still voted equally, and we'd have still had kind of the same result. Like there's more kind of things that deserve to be changed, which is the importance, I guess, of everyone voting where it matters.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh
Ooh,
God,
politics.
this is like the most. Yeah, I was about to say this is the most political
Ooh,
podcast.
but on a brighter note, a more interesting topic. How do you feel about um celebrities getting in their OnlyFans bag? I know that's been a trend recently.
Oh shit, that was a
A hard
pretty,
left, huh?
yeah, that
A
was a
very hard
hard
left.
segue. That was like I'm on Twitter and I just
Yep, that's
scrolled
that's
past
exactly
something
what happened. I
segue.
was on Twitter and I saw somebody's OnlyFans, so I figured we might as well talk about
Oh, that's lit. Drop the link, man. But I mean, I have no issue with OnlyFans. LOL. Like for me, I'm always gonna be laissez faire. Like that's gonna be like a big ass thing with me. I'm just like I don't give a fuck. People do what they want. Celebrities, I think there's so many things that could be said with it because it's like some people are like, oh, you're taking money away from like the actual sex workers that need money. I think that's
it. Yeah.
valid. Some celebrities that we think have money don't actually have
Oh
money.
yeah.
I think that's something that's skipped, or I mean, like kind of just crossed over, like glanced over, but not really given much light. And I feel like it's a little bit cool, but also like what else is there to do right now? Like just saying like I think the pandemic has a role, but also Beyonce like mentioned like the demon time, like like might do the OnlyFans thing. So I feel like that's a like it's just a
Hmm.
thing now. Yeah, but I mean fuck.
Yeah.
I have no real issue with it. It's just like fuck. If you have an issue, just don't look at
Facts.
it because other people are
Facts.
gonna do it.
If you don't look at it, somebody else will. But My only thing is, like you said, I don't feel like some of the celebrities don't need it. Like the whole Bella Thorne thing, where she finessed niggas out of $2 million on like 24 hours, which is crazy. But some of them celebrities, they don't need it because they're already self sufficient and have the money, like you said.
Yeah, I think that's. I actually feel bad about that. I feel bad for all the people that was paying to see Bella Thorne. I'm sorry, for me, she's not my cup of tea. But
And
hey,
the fact, like,
if that's what you like,
people were paying to see Bella Thorne, and I heard it wasn't even like she wasn't even nude. She was just clothed.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying to me, it's funny. I'm like, really, Bella Thorne? I'm
Of
like,
all people.
I don't. Yeah, but I mean, for her, I'm like, fuck it, get your money. That's if people willing to do that, do your thing. Cause I don't know, like I think I saw like Jordan Woods had one, and she's kind of on that kick where like she's not posting nudity or like pornography or nothing, but it's like thirst traps maybe.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like,
But it's like if
okay,
you posting, first of all, for me, this is just me. If you posting thirst traps on fucking OnlyFans, I'm not paying a subscription to see that. I can just go on Twitter or Instagram and see that. That's so unnecessary.
yeah. Well, I mean, for me personally, I have no money to spend on
That
OnlyFans.
too.
I do
That's
not
the
have a
other thing.
disposable income to put towards something like that. And even if I did, I just do not think that would be something I would do. Yeah, that's not up my alley. I don't think there's anything wrong with that though, because I feel like women and I applaud and like sort of support and empathize with sex workers because it's like, they kind of get shitted on for a lot of like for no reason. I think patriarchy, that plays a role, but it's like they wouldn't have the job if there weren't
Paying for it.
people that made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're American and everyone like wants the LLC and the business and shit like that, capitalism.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If people are willing to pay for it, I'm like, well, fuck it. You're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm a drug dealer and I'm serving rocks to like pregnant women in the hood. You know what I mean? So if people want to see whatever content that they want to see, there's that. Also, not all
It's
OnlyFans is like,
sex. Yeah.
yeah, it's not
People get on
all
there.
like
They
lewd
be on there
content.
basket weaving and shit. I'm just making shit up, but they be on there. Like if I was to make an OnlyFans, I'm get on there and I'm selling my beats,
Yeah, yeah. If I make an OnlyFans, it's gonna be like exclusive beat videos,
beat tutorials,
but I'm gonna word it. Yeah, I'm gonna word it like I'm beating my meat, but it's like actually me on like an NPC.
giving out the secret sauce on OnlyFans. Subscribe to my page. $20
Yeah, and then when you open it, it's like a Kyle Beats ad.
the drip plugin.
2 clicks and you're perfect. Oh man,
But
yeah,
yeah, I don't really understand why people shit on sex workers because like they not bothering you. Why the fuck do you care what they do to get their money? That just
yeah,
doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, I'm a public health major, so there's a lot of different shit that I try to be cognizant of, especially with like environment, behavior. There's a lot of like sort of different things that play into that, and it's like that's not. I I could be wrong here, but I feel like that's not a job that people are like yeah, man, this is easy. What like I feel like there's a lot of different factors that go into that, and that's a very serious and it's tough and hazardous for a lot of people, but it's like their circumstances, that's what they got to do. So for me to talk down on someone like that, I just do not think that's cool. Like that's not something I would ever do. And then I think for the most part there's male sex workers obviously, but I feel like that's mostly like a bigger women
Hmm.
thing. And I support this idea wholeheartedly. But as a nigga, I don't have my nose in women's business. And I also think the idea goes like, vice versa. I don't think most women should have their nose in like niggas business. I don't really know what niggas business fully is like off the top, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you know it
yeah,
when you see it. Yeah, because it's like, why do I care what she's doing? You know what I
exactly.
mean?
It ain't affecting you, so why do you care?
Yeah. So it's different. I think a lot of people like, oh, if I'm with a chick, oh, I wouldn't talk to no chick that do that or whatever. You know what I mean? Like people put themselves in that
Yeah,
situation. A lot of guys do that, which I get, but for me, I'm just like, that's her business. You know, that's like they have people that are like, I don't know, they just do whatever. Like I don't give a shit.
yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, so what's your spill on the OnlyFans?
Well, like I said, I mean, get your money how you live. I mean, if you gotta do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do. But am I gonna make an OnlyFans to make money? No. But I understand why people do it. But I'm not knocking it. Get your bread, stack your coin. That's just for me at least. I'm not doing it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I feel that. I think also too, uh, a lot of guys I think have an issue with it. Well, not actually. I think it's a good thing. I think it's good because like when you think about it, and I may be wrong. I'll always acknowledge that there's room for that. But like, did you ever watch like those '70s movies or like movies back then when like they had pimps and like hookers and hoes and shit?
Yeah, they had a movie called I think it was Players Club.
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit more recent. I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah,
of like I
that's
think there was
recent.
a movie about a pimp. Well,
I
that's
mean, it's
not
not recent,
recent.
recent, but
That's
it's
like
like
90s,
'90s.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I think what is it, the Mac with like a guy who's like his name was Goldie.
No, I don't think I saw that.
Well, that's a movie I saw. It was just basically like he was macking, you know what I mean? Like he was a pimp. And a lot of like the movies back then, and this is me speaking from my experience. Like when I was younger, I thought it was cool to be a pimp.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean like bitch better have my money. Like, you know what I mean? Like like it was cool to be that guy because he had money, he had women, and like he could say and do whatever he wanted. And you know, as I got older, I got out of that mindset, obviously, but that was kind of the thing. And I feel like there was no issue with that. You know what I mean? Like niggas weren't outspoken about that being bad. I guess some of the pimps they were like, like, don't be me. I'm just like this because I'm trying to get my bills paid. Like the OGs, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's all.
Yeah, but like pimps were celebrated. However, niggas would be mad if they're, like a female family member or whatever was one of the hoes or like dudes was trying to disrespect women that they
Hmm.
knew. So it's like the women only matter when they have a connection to that person. They don't matter on their own.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like that I think those subtle kind of things in like, and I won't say just like the black community, but I can speak for like my experience in that. Like, those subtle things kind of go towards like why black women feel as though like they are the most disrespected because in a lot of cases they
yeah,
are.
they are.
You know what I mean? So that idea, and that's just like with black pimps. And I feel like this is so funny because it's like a fucking history lesson, I think. And it's like I don't even I'm coming up with it as I'm going along, but like it's in hip hop. It's a big part of hip hop. This is the urban dimension, we talk about music. And I think a major part
Yeah.
of hip hop,
Well,
well not a major,
okay.
but a good part of hip hop,
Misogyny.
yeah, misogyny, disrespecting women.
Yeah.
Cause I remember like Biggie Smalls, me and my bitch, he's talking about like, like just the way he refers to her, the language, different shit like that. That was the atmosphere back then. But when I listen to something like that now, I'm like, whoa.
Yikes.
Yikes. You know what I mean? Like same thing with like I think like gays, like back then Kanye spoke about this in an early interview, but he was saying like it wasn't cool to be gay.
Hmm.
Like if shit was like he was like if you say some whack shit, you like, man, that shit was gay. That's what Kanye
Hmm.
would say. So like he was like that's how it was. And like back then that was when people would drop the F bomb, like you call people a bundle of sticks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I remember when people were saying that being problematic.
But it's like now, and that opens up I guess like another conversation with cancel culture, but like it's not politically correct. And the argument could definitely be like it should have never been politically correct or like cool to say. But when I was young, I'll definitely say like when I was a little kid, like I didn't understand like the issue with that. I thought it was kind of like nigga, like oh whatever. But I've eliminated it from my vocab. But you get what I'm saying? Like a lot of the culture, the music, disrespect, and it's with women and I I don't want to say I'll leave the gays out, but like with women specifically, like they've been in like an oppressed sort of state. So I think women having access to OnlyFans, it allows them to kind of like sort of dictate their own kind of power over their like bodily autonomy and like what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm here for it. It's just yeah, I'm basically here for it. My thing was I just don't like how some of these celebrities are taking advantage of it because I remember with the Bella Thorne shit. I think when she did it, it put a cap on like how much money you could make at one time or something like that.
Yeah, she definitely fucked up the
Yeah,
hustle.
she fucked it up for some people. So I can understand. That's just my thing. I don't really like how the celebrities manipulated the situation for them. And it also goes back to them just being greedy. Some of them,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, I mean the the OnlyFans, I feel like it leveled the playing field because and I spent so long talking about pimps or whatever, just because like in my opinion, you don't really see pimps nowadays, or maybe they are there, and they're different, but they're not like what I mean. Like you get my money and give it to
hmm
me. Women can kind of do that. Same thing with pornography. You know what I mean? Like Pornhub, Tasty Blacks, like like a lot of the women they feel as though like they're exploited because like I guess it's kind of like rap contracts. Like I obviously don't know how the porn industry works. If anyone knows, feel free to like give
the
us the
rundown.
give us the info. Yeah, but they sign like contracts, I guess, and they have to like do a certain amount of like videos, different shit like that, and they just feel like, damn, I'm getting fucked, like literally and figuratively, like I'm fucked. So there's that. But if you have an OnlyFans, you have control over what you want to do. So that levels out the playing field. And it's like, I guess some people can dance around the thing like, okay, I'm not a porn star. I don't want to have sex with people, but I have an OnlyFans. I'm a content creator. So that changes the language. You can add some, I want to say anonymity to it. I'm trying to say like anonymous. Like you can be
Hmm.
anonymous with it. Uh, yeah, it's leveled the playing field, so that's why I think it's a good thing, but it is what you make it. I think it's like relative to music, people having access to like DistroKid and like being able to be a bedroom producer, different shit like that. It's leveled the playing field to where everyone can play.
Yeah, anybody can get their bag. Yeah, but to wrap this podcast up, do you have anything you are listening to or have anything on your radar for the future?
For the future, I saw a tweet from Kid Cudi, which looked like he was working on music. But again, I'm a Kid Cudi kind of stan, so like anything he comes out with, I'm gonna be happy. Other than that, particularly nah. I saw Party like he released the Party pack, but like obviously that's not new music
Yeah,
really.
That's true. Only thing for me, I would say is there hasn't really been any recent music announcements that caught my attention or anything in general. But I am looking forward to seeing that Travis Scott is dropping his new album, allegedly Utopia in 2021. So I mean, that's distant from now, but I'm really looking forward to that and how we could potentially top Astro World. I don't think he's gonna top Rodeo. That's just a classic, but hopefully he can top Astro World.
I feel that. I feel that. I would actually. I'm waiting on Childish Gambino. I think it was. I saw like a tweet a while back that he's like close to doing something or finishing up. That's funny. Are there any other artists that I'm looking forward to? It's hard to think of right now, like off the bat, but that kind of is what it is. I'm happy with 21 Savage's album though. Savage Mode 2 was really nice.
Oh yeah,
That's like I'm just looking at like the albums that came out this year. I'm thinking about some of them. I thought it was cool. I thought if it was dropped a little bit later around like
would have been
Halloween,
perfect.
I think it yeah, it had like some little like dark sinister vibes. Like ooh, but the year is so weird now. I think I'll be happy when the pandemic ends and we have more bangers and like lit like I guess social gathering
Hmm.
music. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
That's understandable. I definitely feel that because I'm tired of being cooped up for. It's been months we've been in quarantine, so I'm getting kind of tired of it. I'm ready to see a concert, do some shit with some friends, something.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. Uh, yeah, quarantine's been tough. I really, I really don't know, but I guess that's pretty much about it. If you have anything else to add,
Nope. When you guys get a chance, check out Urban Dimension on Twitter at Urban Dimension, all caps underscore. Follow us on Instagram, The Urban Dimension, and check out our website, urbandimension.com. Peace.
peace.